Hi, this is Eric. Welcome to my video series. Okay, so in the previous video, we saw how to generate data using SQL Server and SSMS. Now we're going to discuss how to display data using Power BI. Woohoo! So if you don't know what a Power BI is, please go watch my previous video. Okay, go to my playlist and you're going to see all videos related to Power BI. So to open Power BI desktop, type Power BI on the search and hit Power BI desktop. So this helps us to generate data and we can get data from the website. So while Power BI is opening, I went ahead and typed on Google patient diagnosis list. I think you guys are bored with names, so I'm gonna switch it a little bit. And then I found a nice website here. You can find it anywhere from maybe Wikipedia or whatever. If you take a look at here, we do have a table and we do have all these diagnoses. I don't know how many are there, okay? A couple of them. So instead of copying and pasting this, probably gonna be cumbersome. We're just gonna go ahead and open Power BI. As you can tell, Power BI is opened. Okay, I'm gonna say go get data. And I'm gonna say get data from the web. So we'll be getting data directly from the web. The next thing you need to do is go to this URL, copy URL. I'll go a little bit slower this time. And then in here, I'm going to enter URL. I'm going to say OK. You may get a message to trust or whatever. Just click OK or connect. Okay, I'm not getting that message because probably I may have accessed this website before. So this is what we're gonna see here. You're gonna go to that website, you're gonna print all the tables and put in there here. So if you come here, you're gonna see that's the table we really need, and you can inspect other tables and you can see we don't need that, we don't need this. All we need is this diagnosis. Okay, so I can go ahead and select that table. I can go ahead and transform. I would have just loaded that information, but I need to delete some of the columns and rename some of the columns and probably add some other columns. As you can see, we do have diagnosis. I'm going to go ahead and rename this. You can right click to rename this table and you can say rename. Column. So I'm going to just call this diagnosis. And I don't need other columns really. I can just go ahead and choose columns here and say choose columns. And all I need is just one column so far. And I just see one column. I can go ahead and rename my table here. And I'm going to call this maybe diagnosis. To make it different, just to rename, I'm just going to get to rename. You can either right click or click maybe F2. And I'm going to call this diagnosis description. I'll go ahead and add a new column here, which is going to be unique identifier. So I can go to add columns and I can say watch index and I can say from 1. You'll see it's just generated from 1. Okay, you can generate those index if you want, or else if you want a specific code, maybe between numbers, we can again go to add column and do custom column. And in here, we can say this is maybe diagnosis code. And in here, I can say run, remember that function, number.random, and I'm going to use this random between. And what does it say? See here, returns a random number between two numbers. So I'll select this, and probably I'm gonna select maybe I just do 1000 here, and 1, 2, 3, 4 between 1000 and 10,000. And that's already, you're gonna see no syntax error. This diagnosis code, I'm gonna click OK. This column will be added, and this column will see decimals because it's a text, but I'm gonna fix this by saying, you know what, do a whole number, and these are the numbers I'm gonna get. So once I'm done here, I'm gonna go to home, and probably I'm gonna have to move this around. So you can choose which one you want. I'm just gonna go ahead and delete the syntax. I don't need it. Don't remove. I don't really need it. So you can see these are numbers, and we do have our diagnosis here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and close and apply. And as you can see here, it will give it a time, it will load that information. We do have 152 records, and I can select maybe a table, and in here I can say, you know what, put my diagnosis and diagnosis description. And this, you can see this, it is being summarized. I'm just gonna say, hey, don't summarize. I just need number. And if you can tell, these are my codes. They look tiny. I can go ahead and fix that by changing the size here. And now it looks bigger. And this is my record here. And yeah, we do have diagnosis code and diagnosis. So in here you can say export data. You can click on these three dots and say export. And guess what? You can export to a CSV file. So if you come back here to my videos, files, you can say these are diagnosis. I'll just say DX, stands for diagnosis data, and save. And then guess what? That information has been stored in a CSV file. I'm not gonna show you guys, if I remember, I'm gonna give you a bonus video. I did a webinar to insert this data direct to SQL from Power BI, and I'm gonna go ahead and save this information as well. I'm gonna say this is DX dummy data. Once you have CSV files, you can really generate or combine file based on parent or based on primary and secondary key. As you can see, and if you remember, we are getting our data from AdventureWorks, but now if you want to combine, let's say, diagnosis and patient, now the patient data is just going to get this here. And if you want dummy diagnosis code, literally you can import CSV file to SQL. The CSV is generated from Power BI. But again, we can import this data straight or direct to SQL Server using DAX Studio. I won't cover that in this video series because it's getting longer and longer, and I know people wanna just get to EHR so that they can do SSIS and all that. Okay, so I do have files prepared for that already. You guys don't have to do anything. So our next video will be we do have these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 files. Our next videos will be really not generating but importing data to I'm gonna change this. I'm gonna be importing data to SQL. And I'm gonna say importing CSV files. CSV file to SQL. And you guys get advantages of seeing real time, not production at the same time, live audio, live video. So thank you very much. You guys know how to generate data now. We're gonna import these files. We have generated a lot of data into CSV and maybe in SQL straight, but now I do have these ready-made files, which you're just gonna see how to import. You're gonna see I'm gonna be running into errors. You're gonna see how I'm changing the data types and all that. I'll be talking less and doing more from now onwards. Okay, so stay tuned, don't go too far. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day. See you in my next video.